Alright guys, so let's make a quick analysis of what happened and what we anticipated. So as I said, this is a really important level up here, this one. And so what happened, we got this big range here and we got the signal, which was a nice buy, and that was basically it for this pair, uh, trading inside that range. Now it then shifted. We couldn't know, because in a range you technically don't know which direction it will pick at which point. But then this happened. The news were kicking in, and yeah, it basically has shifted to the downside. Nevertheless, this trade here played out. So that was basically the trade. Yeah, so a 1 to 2, and so same thing kind of with GU. So we also had this support level. It mitigated this order block. With this imbalance, it shifted and gave this downward signal. So GU has been much clearer than EU this week. Now with gold, we basically had the same thing. So this whole range was created to trap traders and accumulate. So nothing we were pretty much interested in, but we got these downward shifts in here indicating more downward momentum. If we would break this level, we then came into the imbalance, collected more liquidity, and then finally pushed down, shifted. Yeah, and that was basically it. So for gold, the trade this week was definitely down here to the buy side up until this level. Why this level? Because it is first of all the hourly level block, and then you can see on the 4-hour time frame these mitigations, and we have this imbalance sitting here, which makes this imbalance, this level, pretty important. So that was it for these pairs this week. Then this shift is kind of counter trend, but nevertheless it works. And yeah, ugly price action here, but it moves down. So just as anticipated, this move, and then here you got the comeback of this pair. And also remember, like, this here is liquidity, so it's just a perfect move. Also down here, the valuation tool indicated at this point that we were good to go. Now the indices, just as expected, long term are just flying higher here to this daily level, so not many good entries in here except this one on Tuesday. So here Tuesday we got this shift, and then just as anticipated, price filled this imbalance as it always does, and then shifted again here, came into this, and boom. So we had pretty clear indication here, but nevertheless, yeah, price action a little bit, yeah, not so clear. But if you look at the nuances, it just works as it should be. Here another imbalance. So same thing with NAS. Yeah, here with NAS, I anticipated this sell, which perfectly worked here, but it was counter trend. And why this one? Well, because we've shifted down here to the downside, and here got another shift. So that is two confirmations counter trend, and we got this imbalance sitting here. So reason for price to come here, and it indeed came into here and then flew up. Why? Because overall direction still bullish. So this is just the smaller time frame reversal, collecting of more orders, liquidity to make the move. Now that was probably the trade of this week that I have anticipated in the other video, as you can see. Just want to show you how it played out. Yeah, so we clearly had this shift here, even on the 4-hour time frame, and then we clearly had this imbalance here, as you can see. So price tapped into it, and even then, if you wanted more confirmation here, you get another shift. So either way, like this or like this to be extra safe. But since we've already used it, you know, we can put it like this and then target the same area. And either way, it would have been a 1 to 3 already, or a 1 to 5, a little bit more roughly. So that was definitely the trade of the week. And then here, what happened? Well, another imbalance just recently, and price tapped into here, and guess what? Shifted, boom, moving up. So that's just swing trading, the power of waiting. Yeah, gotta be patient with those trades. And here, look how beautiful. Same thing, even though price action is very ugly down here, to be honest, because that is not so. We've tapped into this imbalance here, but here is just a mitigation of this block, as you can see. But I would have actually anticipated price to come a little bit lower to then shift, but it didn't. That was probably just some news, but either way, it stopped here at this block, gave a shift. Here's the imbalance, and boom. As you can see, even here, you know, down here, it comes into this block, into the imbalance, moves aggressively up, but then still accumulates. So this is basically a flag, a range, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, that's just the things to note. And then this is basically what we can, you know, I'm not the guy with names, but you can call it low resistance liquidity or whatever you want. Thing is, with this, everything is efficient and used, and when that is the case, price most of the time has easy play to just push through this, and this is why it's low resistance. It doesn't offer much resistance to price pushing through, and look what happened. Boom, straight push, boom, straight push, then small rejection, but boom, straight push. So it didn't take much for price to push through on a broader scale, while here on the other side you have here imbalance, boom, here imbalance, and look what happened. Price actually created this flag, this pattern, and it took a little while for price to push through. And that's just the things that you gotta note. Yeah, so this is what happened. And then here again, just look at the broader picture and scale. So what happened here? Well, obviously there's imbalance too. So what happened? Price took out this external liquidity, and while mitigating this liquidity in here to the left here, and then what happened? Look at it. Well, price wicks it, but boom, then shifts and comes back to internal. It's always the same. And then also note what the higher time frame is doing. So here in this case, you can clearly see the body broke above, indicating potentially even higher movement, but again, we would need to confirm this. But that's just the things to note for you. Yeah, and that's a clear uptrend. That's just what happens. And then same thing here, as anticipated, price, broke this, accumulated, took out this low again, accumulated, shifted, boom, and flying up. Um, that being the first target, first real target or second target, and that's the long-term target for a month. And then look at what already happened. It already moved. It went to 3, getting here. Yeah. And then even here, we've anticipated this move overall, kind of bearish, but within this imbalance here. And then here, once we got the break, the mitigation, I anticipated a final move down here, which happened. So yeah, we didn't really took out this low and come here, but we mitigated this block. So still price moves that way, and that's just to show you this is what you can do week after week. It's not so much about the setups, it's just more so about yourself and the patience and everything. And this is what I'm practicing basically, and yeah, it's still fascinating for me to see. And again, with this strategy, the win rate's pretty high. Also have a look at the COT data here. Yeah, that's just the strategy. And here, what you can see, also same thing. So we've got an indication of this uptrend, and then what happened? Well, price basically came into this imbalance down here. That's it for this week with the dollar index. And then price, mitigated, shifted, gave another shift, and flew up. So that's just the nuances, the details to keep an eye on. And this repeats every week. Have a good one.